She's the president and founder of Muslims for Progressive Values since 2007. Please welcome back Ani Zonneveld.
Oh, thank you, shukran. Thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate that. So dear friends, allies, supporters, good afternoon and welcome to Muslims for Progressive Values' third annual Celebration of Life, a program of personal tributes, poetry readings, live music, where we honor activists from the Muslim world who have been threatened, jailed, tortured, or killed for the work in affirming the equal worth of all human beings. For years, after every terrorist attacks in the name of Islam, the media often asks, where are the progressives and Muslim? We are here, we have always been here. Try Googling, maybe. This event, Celebration of Life, is designed to inform the American public of these human rights defenders' courage by having like-minded American celebrities bring the stories of these honorees to life. We want to thank our MC, Tamar Katan, our presenters, Emiliana Goreka, Amin Al-Gamal, Zorin Ahdamji, and Kevin Jennings. On guitar and oud is Hassan Mike Stein. Where are you, Mike? Who has always been there for Muslims for Progressive Values, whose musical improvisation and accompaniment during the monologues will reach out and touch you. Thank you also to Hassan Piker, Hassan, of the Young Turks for raffling yourself off to donors to attend this event with you. And we welcome winner Brooke Hayes from St. Petersburg, Florida. Welcome. And this event would not happen had it not been for the many volunteers, especially Hassan, who does the set, and my dear, reliable right-hand person, Yasmin Kadir. Thank you, Yasmin. In this political climate, truth is a valuable commodity. Since the beginning of time, speaking truth to power has always been difficult, especially when the oppressors conveniently use religion to justify their corrupt practices. To quote Plato, no one is more hated than the one who speaks the truth. As a grassroots human rights organization, MPV Values have been holding up the mirror to human rights abuses of the Muslim stripe for more than 10 years. We have challenged them on their misogynistic interpretations of Islam, on female genital mutilation and cutting, child and forced marriages, against accusation, imprisonment for blasphemy, defending freedom of expression and freedom of conscience, the right to believe or not, and homophobic preaching that have resulted in traumatic and oftentimes self-loathing of LGBTQI people. We have seen how that played out in a murderous way at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. Our mere existence is a thorn on the side of many Muslim organizations, both here and at home and abroad. Holding up the mirror to their ugly practices for more than 10 years can be a strain, and we need your collective hands to help us keep holding it up. With the election of the man with the small hands, we have seen the language of our oppressors morph. In the United States, these oppressors in the Muslim community have now discovered if they are to be protected by the progressive and liberal American communities at large, they better learn to speak the same human rights language. Their new stance of supporting women's and LGBTQ rights is, well, to be honest, untruths. We have seen a plethora of Muslim organizations and mosques claiming to be supportive of women and LGBTQ rights. Yes, LGBTQ is the ultimate litmus test for one's progressiveness. I have seen progressive communities call their members to march in solidarity with local mosques in response to offense messages sprayed painted on its walls. I've seen heads of these progressive communities invited to speak at marches, only to be disinvited once it was made known that he is gay. And for the imams to be seen amicable with LGBTQ religious leaders, but only when the cameras are on for public consumption. At the international level, at the United Nations, I see human rights abusers co-opting human rights language for their own political gain. In the last few years, there have been many international declarations. The Fez Declaration in 2015 addresses the role of religious leaders in preventing incitement to violence that could lead to atrocity crimes. The Marrakesh Declaration outlines the rights of religious minorities in predominantly Muslim-majority communities, and that is just to name a few of the international declarations. But sitting at the table are the dominant male Muslim religious leaders who have borrowed human rights language to cash in on legitimacy, while doing absolutely nothing on the ground for the good of humanity. Because if they did, the world, especially if the Muslim world, would not be the state of chaos as it is. Why are grassroots organizations and the true human rights defenders and advocates the ones holding up the mirror, not at the table? Because just like the progressive churches and synagogues, the United Nations, they deem progressive Muslims, especially us unveiled women, not Muslim enough. And they are afraid to rock the boat. Why are progressive Christians, Jewish, and everyone else allowed to be self-critical of their conservative brethren, but not us Muslims? Change can only come from within. In the Muslim world, despite the negative headlines, positive change is taking place. It really, truly is. There's good news to share. In the last year alone, Morocco's highest religious authorities came down with two profound edicts. One, apostasy has nothing to do with Islam, that it is a political tool. Two, Muslim women are allowed to officiate marriages. In Tunisia, it is really good news. In Tunisia, Muslim women are now allowed to marry non-Muslim men, and just last week, a bill is proposed for equal inheritance of men and women. Viva Tunisia, right? MPV has always championed against apostasy. Our step and repeat promotes freedom of conscience. This has been our stance for years, one that has garnered scorn from most Muslims and even from non-Muslim diplomats. As for conducting marriages, we women at MPV have been officiating interfaith and same-sex marriages for a decade. Having these two religious edicts may seem meaningless for many, but for us advocates on the ground, it is a protective shield from harassment and from imprisonment. Simply put, it is a lifesaver. Last year, I spoke about Khayter. And for those of you who were here last year, you may remember, it was a Mauritanian man who was jailed for apostasy, for advocating against slavery and the disenfranchisement of the Smithers, a demography of the slave heritage. The good news is that the Minister of Justice of Mauritania declared he had served his term and released him, albeit in a safe house for his own protection. And why? Because there are imams whose names we have, who have called for his death with a large bounty of $10,000. $10,000 is a lot of money, especially in a poor country like Mauritania. Who is funding this nonsense? Do you know how hard it is for us, MPV, to raise $10,000? Unfortunately, though, the Minister of Justice of Mauritania was fired for freeing Khayter. But Khayter is doing well. He is eating, he's in good health, and has good relations with his security detail, and is awaiting approval of his asylum status to a third country. Lastly, my opening remarks would not be complete without acknowledging the Me Too and Time's Up campaigns. I, too, am a Me Too. And I salute my sisters who have spoken up, despite having to relive their pain and trauma. There is a lot of pain and trauma in this world. We have to heal ourselves first before we can go for the world. But we heal better with and in support of each other, women, men, LGBTQI. Your presence here means a lot to us. You have proven to be beyond selfishness and tribalism, and represent the best of America. And that is, we are all in this together. Thank you.